Welcome to this short webinar on the 2026 BA Career Roadmap, where to focus, how to grow. My name is LN Mishra. I believe some of you may know me, like Ram is our current student, so obviously Ram would know me. For others' benefit, I am a practicing BA for close to 27 plus years now. Been training, teaching, helping business analysts do well in their professional life, work career. I happen to be the first BA in the world to complete all 7 IIBA certifications. I also have helped more than 2,300 business analysts to get IIBA certified, which I believe is a world record. Because to my knowledge, I don't know anybody else who has helped so many professionals get IIBA certified. I've been an avid reader, learner in the field of business analysis. So I hope I can share some of my knowledge and thoughts on how do we plan things in 2026. We are almost in middle of November, not many days left for 2026 itself. So it's a good time to kind of take a stock of how things have been over the last 2, 3 years and how it may look like in 2026. So just a quick note, I believe some of you may be joining from India. Is that right? Few of you could be from India. I would believe so. This time it works quite well
Yes.
for India. Yeah. Okay. And I heard Patricia is from Poland. But any other country, anybody else? Anybody from Singapore or Australia? Nobody from Singapore or Australia. That will be
Yeah, I'm
surprising.
from Australia.
Yeah. Okay. So we have covered 3 countries. Anybody else from any other country? Hess, where are you from? Yolanda, did I get your name right? Maybe Hess is not replying for some reason. It's okay. So at least we have people from 3 different countries, which is quite nice. Sometimes when we run our US webinar, we get people from many parts of the world. Like we get them from US, Canada, Europe, Africa, India, unusual from Australia, New Zealand. But this time it works quite well for Australia, India, China, Singapore, Hong Kong. This part of the world, this timing works very well. So just a quick intro about myself, which I already have said. So I'm going to skip this. So again, let me thank all of you for taking time out and joining us today. I always believe all of us are time pressed for our work, our professional development, but I'm quite sure you'll learn something new from this webinar, which can be quite helpful for you in your planning for 2026. That's my aim, is to give you some guidance. And of course, you can differ from what I say. It's always perfectly fine. And if you have any questions, specifically what you would like to do, I can also try to answer given my experience as a seasoned business analyst. I also play the role of business analyst for Adaptive. So we think of how we make our own businesses better. So we try different things. So some of our experiments are successful, some of them are not successful, but it doesn't mean that we stop trying. So this year we tried something called AI agents. Some of you might have been hearing a lot of noise around AI agents, but the 2 AI agents we tried, one of them succeeded in its endeavor, the other one failed. But I always keep saying, what fails today in AI, maybe it will start working in 6 months. So it's not that something is not working today, doesn't mean it will not work forever. It's just that the question of timing. Maybe we were a little bit ahead of time while trying things. And I think technology takes some time to stabilize. So we all have to wait. But when we are waiting, that's a good time to learn as well. Okay, so obviously my aim is to tell you a little bit about how I have seen the BA role changing over last decade or two, because I've been a BA for almost 30 years now, and things are definitely changing. No, we all remember, like, I am pre-internet BA. So when I started my business analyst work, there was hardly anything called internet. I mean, it started kind of becoming available, but the content that was available on internet was very little. So mostly we relied on books. So in those days, books were there, and even the books were very expensive to acquire in those days. And mostly we kind of relied on our own knowledge, or we always talked to senior BAs, and that's how we performed our work. But the work today you can perform will be very different because you have lot more tools at your disposal. So when new tools come to the market, the expectation on you also will change. No, so for example, today if somebody says, I do not know how to type or use a computer, what kind of value that person will bring to business? Very little. No. So the world of paper writing has gone almost now 30, 40 years. Almost all businesses use computers to do their work. Similarly, I believe in another 5 to 10 years' time, every business worth mentioning would be using AI and futuristic tools as well. AI is something that we discussed today, but I'm not sure what kind of technology will come tomorrow. No? There could be even better technologies available to us tomorrow. And those who don't leverage the tools and knowledge and established bases, those are going to be left out. No, because the companies would obviously expect us to be a lot more productive given the fact that we have access to such powerful tools in our hand. So that's what I am going to talk to you, and few resources that I can share with you which will be helpful for your journey in 2026. I'll be happy to take some questions. Maybe I'll keep another about 15 minutes at the end of the program to take questions from you. Good. So again, this is an important thing for me to announce to you. We just announced our Black Friday offer as of today. So this is the best time of the year for you to kind of buy any of our products and services. They are obviously going to go up at least first week of December and again first week of January. So this is the best time for you to buy anything that you would like to buy from us. Okay, so this is one simple question for all of you. How many of you are already using ChatGPT as part of your work? Most of you, some of you, none of you.
I use.
Okay, so that's Patricia. What about others?
I use.
Okay, very good. So two,
I
who
also
is
use
not using? Okay, so three people are saying yes. Anybody who is not using ChatGPT as part of your BA work? I'm glad none of you say yes. That's nice because imagine such a powerful tool being available to you and you not using it. Now, obviously, your productivity is bound to be lower than somebody who is using the tool. Okay. Is it panacea for everything? Obviously not. But can it boost your productivity? For sure, yes. I have personally tried using this AI tools, and my productivity has gone up. I'm able to find solutions which I couldn't think earlier. Even just yesterday, I was talking to a colleague of mine, and I have recorded a lot of videos on something called Business 101. Okay, so that was my long time dream, that I will produce a course which is very helpful for anybody who is planning to become a business professional, not necessarily a business analyst. You could be a HR manager, you could be an IT manager, you could be a procurement manager, whatever role, or you are a developer, but you are interested to learn about business. There is hardly any good course that I could find where somebody could learn about business at a very high level. So I did a lot of recording, about 90 videos I created. That's a lot of videos. But in those videos, I found one peculiar problem. So there were a lot of flickers coming in between the video. So when I spoke to my marketing person, the person who takes care of our blogging and all, so he told me, LN, this problem is because of the hardware problem that you have. So your computer isn't capable of rendering videos very well. That's why these flickers are coming, and we can't do anything about it. So then after I had my BA mind, I said, is there some way I can get over this problem? Hmm. Then I figured out that we had an AI tool, and it's a very simple tool called vid.io. Some of you might have tried that tool. It's a video editing software using AI. So I picked up that particular tool and I input my one of my videos, and then I asked it for a new feature that they have introduced called B-roll images. So what is B-roll image? It basically, while you are talking like in a recording, suppose you're talking for 7 minutes or 10 minutes, think for a while. All the time your face is in front of the computer and in front of the person. But the person might feel a little bit monotonous. No, Anil, Would you feel if you keep watching me talking for 1 hour, will you find it interesting or monotonous?
Definitely monotonous.
True. No, anybody would find it monotonous because the same person is talking for so long. So what these B-roll images do is they kind of introduce a tiny video or an image in between. So probably you have 2 minutes of you're talking, then the voiceover continues, but the display changes to something else. Then I figured that out. I said, okay, now I have a solution in my hand. So wherever these flickers are coming, I could insert a B-roll image. So the flicker will not be visible and my problem will be solved. You know? So the same thing probably wasn't possible to do earlier because earlier such tools were not available. So with AI and especially generative AI coming into our picture, a lot of new kind of solutions are being available to every company. It's not only us. No? And whichever company can try things out, they can be more successful. Like recently, we also introduced multilingual products. How many of you in your company produce multilingual products for documentation or content? Anyone here? I think Patricia may have multilingual thing in her country, no? Or do you folks use only one language?
No, no, we are international, so we have multiple languages. But
Hmm.
the documentation is in English.
Okay. Could be. I'm not saying. For us, also, most of our documentation is in English even today. But we always believe that there are BAs who would like to learn things in their native language as well. Like, say, for example, if you look at Arabic countries, no, those people are still much more comfortable with Arabic language compared to English. So we give them option. Do you want to learn in Arabic? Do you want to learn in English? And those features we are able to implement now because of AI. In the past, we couldn't do it. No. So remember that you have very strong tools available to you now to do things which were not available to us even 2 to 3 years back. And these tools are becoming a lot more powerful as we speak. Okay. So let me tell you something very, very unpleasant. A lot of people will tell that AI will not kill jobs. No, those are all basically politically correct statements. They are not true. Okay. So obviously, it's my personal belief that AI will enable organizations to get more work done with fewer human resources. If I would like to add the word human in front of it, this is going to be the case. So obviously, the intake for BAs will come down for sure. Because what the businesses will feel is that if I already have a BA on board, how do I leverage that BA to do many more things? Because now a lot more tools and capacity is available rather than hiring a new BA and kind of making them both inefficient. So people who do not upskill themselves are obviously at a great risk. You would have seen a lot of companies asking, especially if you're a senior professional, you are even at greater risk. Why a senior professional is at a greater risk compared to a junior professional? What is the reason? Ram, what is the reason that a senior professional is at a bigger risk?
Yeah, because if they're not aware of new technology, they might
Mhm.
replace them.
True. No, you are more expensive resource as well for the company. No, that's natural. No, senior resources are always more expensive to a company compared to junior resources. So they may
And
feel if I remove one senior resource, maybe I'll save a lot of money. This is what you see happening. I was talking to a good friend of mine, and he was telling me he works with Cisco, and he was telling it's very, very clear that people above the age of 50 are definitely in the target group of being asked to leave the company, unless unless they're adding significantly more value. Like look at your salary at this point in time. Let it be dollar X. I don't worry, whatever be the case. Can you figure out that you are contributing 3x to the company? In that case, you are actually safe. But if your contribution is less than 3x, and especially if it is less than 2x, then definitely you are at risk. So that is something we have to figure out. How do we compute the value that we bring to the table for the company? That equation isn't very easy to find, but something we have to figure out as professionals, especially as business analysts. Some people may actually kind of criticize me and say that you are being very pessimistic, LN. But the world is like that. The world is ruthless. The business world isn't very forgiving. Okay. So obviously, we are in a very, very precarious spot, I would say, given the way things are changing in the marketplace, and they will continue to change. So the speed of technological innovation, will it come down or will it go up? What do you guys think?
It will keep on
China,
changing.
it'll keep, obviously, it is keeps on changing. I'm not disputing, but I'm looking at the speed of change. Is it going to slow down or the speed of change is going to go up?
Go up, I think.
It is going to go up. I personally have seen. No, 30 years back, people were very, very relaxed about the way they worked. No, because everybody was operating in a low productivity job. No, now everybody is in high productivity zone. So if somebody doesn't perform at that high productivity zone, obviously that person is at significant risk. Okay, so one of the things that I keep telling to people is when you look at finance, no, a lot of people might have studied finance. Some of you may be investing into stock market and those kind of things. So we always say follow a principle called portfolio diversification. That means you don't put all your money in one asset category. Let it be uh, equity, let it be debt, or whatever. No. So we always say have an investment portfolio which will protect you from risk. And similarly, I would urge all of us to get our skills also diversified. So some of you may be playing the role of a pure requirements analyst. I'm just taking an example. Can you also play the role of a data analyst or a product analyst? Because you already know a lot of things. So it's not that you are going to learn something drastically new topic. I'm not asking you to become a financial manager or something like that. But you are already an analyst. So, and part of that, you already know a lot of things. But now, by learning little bit peripheral stuff, you can play different role as well within your company. And in that case, the company would find you a lot more valuable because you are able to contribute to different kinds of projects, not only one type of project. Okay, so there are a few things that I have written here. One is obviously we need to understand different kinds of business analysis work that happens. Two, behavioral skills are something that is not going to go away even in the world of AI. So keep that in mind. Behavioral skills are something which are evergreen, and I am really doubtful sometime in very near future, AI will replace behavioral skills. It's unlikely. But the thing that you will see a lot of change would be your technology skills. This is something which will undergo a rapid knowledge. Then I have written about domain knowledge. And in fact, in domain knowledge, I would add one more part, which is your organizational knowledge. AI or Gen AI, if you specifically look at, it understands generic things that's written on internet. That's how the whole thing got created. It collected a lot of data from internet and started talking to you about what it sees on internet. But is all your company data visible to Gen AI tools? Vikram,
No,
is
not all
all
the.
your
No, no.
huh? Hardly anything.
Yeah.
So Gen AI understands internet in general, but it does not understand your company as such. No, but who will have the knowledge of the company itself? Who can have the knowledge about the company, how it operates, what are its USPs, what are its uniquenesses? Who will understand that?
Business analyst.
Correct. So if you do not put your mind and brain behind how your company operates, you don't understand it very well, you're losing an opportunity to be valuable. Hmm? And it is natural, no? If we are spending, say, 5 years, 10 years in a particular company, we should be having a great understanding of what the company does. Okay, so this is the 6-step process that I suggest we follow. One, we obviously have to assess our existing competencies. So we do have a simple tool. We call it as Competency Pro. You can use it to assess your competency. And we are going to actually revise this content probably early December. We are still in the process of doing some other major updates to ECBA program. That's why our capacity is a little bit constrained. But I'm very sure by mid-December, we are going to update this assessment framework. And we would look at an assessment framework validated for 2026. So what we have created, it was for 2024. We did not change it in 2025, but I think it's important for us to update the uh, assessment framework in 2026, which we probably would do it in mid-December. So I'll add some couple of points here in the presentation, which you can add to the assessment framework as well. But it's valid till about a year back. So it's not that obsolete, but it still needs some kind of uh, recalibration. And obviously, I would ask you to learn diversified BA processes. So when I said diversified, maybe today you learn or you have learned requirements analysis very well. But I would urge you to look at data analytics processes, product analytics processes, those kind of processes. And maybe one more area which I feel could be very helpful, especially for senior business analysts, to learn about strategic analysis. Because for so long, we have been so focused on project space that we really haven't made up our mind about how the enterprise runs, how the enterprise creates value. And those could be very, very valuable, especially if you are a business analyst, maybe 10 plus years of experience. I'm just taking a 10 plus year. It doesn't mean somebody with 8 years experience cannot try. Even a junior business analyst also can think about strategic levels, but maybe your company may not take you that seriously. But if you know something very unique, very new, and you feel your company can benefit from that, I would always say, go ahead and propose. No, go ahead and propose your company. This is my idea. This is where I think the company can do well. And as long as we are proactive, we are not reactive, we are not taking decisions, but we are taking initiative to tell the company to do something new, the company would definitely love it. Have no questions. No, because the top management is also trying to do the same thing. They're also trying to make the company a better organization. Then obviously there are a lot of new tools coming our way, and I'm very glad many of you are already using ChatGPT and similar tools. But those are tools that we should keep in mind that better and better tools will be available to us. So we should be keeping an eye on new tools that is coming our way and make ourselves comfortable about the new tools. And the good part is usually the older tools are a little harder to learn compared to the new age tools, which are much more simpler and they're more human interaction oriented. So you will not find it very difficult to learn ChatGPT or Copilot or some such tool. And I would always recommend try to find a mentor, maybe at your workplace. It's always good to look for a senior BA, somebody who is very well qualified, does contribute a lot to your company, and learn from that person. That's always good. Or you could also look at other institutes to get some mentoring help and apply your learning. Whatever you are learning, try to apply your learning. So I am always a practitioner approach. I generally don't worry so much about the theoretical aspect of something, but I always look at how do I use this capability to make my business better, make me more productive. That's how I look at things. Then the last point I always would recommend people, it always makes sense to get branded. No, branding always helps you in terms of downturn, and it also kind of shows your intent to learn new things. No, if somebody is not got certified at all in 20 years of service, probably the person is ignoring learning opportunities, especially in newer areas. So suppose today you do requirements analysis, but you learn about data analysis and get certified as a data analyst. It obviously means you have put an effort to learn that process. You don't get certified without learning a topic. So I use my certification as a mechanism to learn new things. That's the primary aim for me. And I'm kind of a little bit disappointed because IIBA hasn't produced anything new in the last 2-3 years. So the last certification that I did was on cybersecurity. And I have been requesting IIBA to create something either on strategic analysis or on generative AI. Maybe these two areas I'm very keen because I believe as new as BAs, we should be looking at strategy analysis and generative AI as additional skills. Then, as I said, we do have a tiny app called competencypro.app. Please go ahead and log in there. It's free. There's no cost to you. And when you're assessing yourself, be honest. Like, don't rate yourself as I'm very good at this, I'm very good at this. Don't think in that way. No. So if you feel that you're really good, no harm. But otherwise, be a bit conservative and leave some opportunity for learning and use it for self-improvement purpose. This data is not shared with anybody else, nor with your manager or company. So it's just for you to look at yourself, and you can actually track it over a period of time. So if you do an assessment today, you can do an assessment after 6 months and see how did I improve and which parameters I'm still not so good and how I can make that better. I believe there is something similar by IIBA as well, but just that the IIBA one is more like a PDF version. Ours is more tool version, so it's relatively easier. You just have to kind of think and apply the logic. We have given some criteria saying when do you call yourself as 5 level, 6 level, 7 level, 8 level, like that. So obviously, some of you could be scoring above 90. No, if you are scoring above 90, probably you are already a champion. So I don't have to teach anything to you. But otherwise, look at this course. And if you are below 60% in the assessment, this is something that needs immediate attention. That means your skills are not up to par. So you have to promptly work on it. Okay, so the 5 key skill components I always look at is to look at different BA processes. And fortunately, I believe many of you may be already IIBA member, or some of you are not IIBA members. If you're not an IIBA member, I would strongly recommend be a member of IIBA. The tiny amount of money that you pay to IIBA for membership fee, it's worth it because you have access to a lot of guides and events and those kind of things. And on top of it, when you are a member and if you go for any of the IIBA certifications, you do get a good discount. So usually the membership fee will be less than the discount that you can get. So if you have plans to get any certification done, it kind of covers. And fortunately, IIBA has already published guides on requirements analysis, which I believe all of you know, BAPA guide. It has a guidebook on data analytics. It has a guidebook on product ownership. It has a guidebook on cybersecurity. It has a guidebook on agile analysis. So quite a few guidebooks are available already within IIBA framework itself. So those guidebooks can be very helpful to learn about those processes. Then BA tools, again, as I said, either learn yourself or take help of any institute to learn new BA tools. And what are the BA tools? I'll tell you. Behavioral skills is something very interesting because this is one area where I think IIBA hasn't done a great job, nor we at Adaptive also have done a great job. And this is one area where a lot of work still can be done in terms of mentoring, guiding people to become better behavioral skills. Domain knowledge, again, this is becoming easier over a period of time. Compared to earlier days, domain knowledge was very hard to acquire. But with Gen AI tools coming into place, you can learn new domains quite quickly. And obviously, as I said, also start understanding your organization a lot better. Like who are the people in the organization? What are the tools that you use within the organization? What kind of applications are used? What kind of business rules have been implemented in these applications? Whichever applications you have come across, because those kind of knowledge will help you to kind of stay afloat in case something drastic happens because of AI. Because AI would typically not have this access at this point in time. But I'm saying, and people tell me there can be private AI as well, which is based on your own company data, but that may be a little bit time away. May not be next year, maybe in 2, 3 years' time. Companies will also start implementing AI tools specifically on their own data. Okay, so then again, coming back, again and again, I keep telling behavioral skills are going to become more and more important as we move forward. Because a lot of technical work that we did in terms of either creating requirements documents or describing requirements or describing or creating a dashboard. All these things, tools will take over. They are already taking over, no? So if you see, a lot of programs are already being written by AI. A lot of requirements can be written by AI. I have actually experimented with AI requirements writing. They aren't bad. Yeah, of course, they need some fine tuning, but sometimes it writes things which I also don't think. And I believe as the AI tools have access to more and more data on internet, they will become better and better in developing requirements, verifying requirements. A lot of things can happen automatically by the tool. So what is left to us is to interact with our stakeholders, convince them about the change, make the change happen, reduce the conflict. Those are skills which will become very, very important. And again, as I said, I am personally quite disappointed with whatever IIBA has done or whatever Adaptive has done for the behavioral skills part. We haven't done a good job at it. One, again, in the certifications, we also totally kind of missed that part. Okay. So again, as I said, you have opportunity to expand your skills to other areas. And fortunately, IIBA already has things on data analytics, things on product ownership, things on cyber security. And we as a company actually plan to introduce this strategic analysis course next year. That's our aim. In fact, I have Lena here. And Lena and I, we worked extensively on this strategic analysis guide. So we were planning to launch it this year, but probably we didn't have enough bandwidth. And I was hoping that IIBA will do something about it, but they haven't. So we will take it up ourselves. So probably you will see a course in Q1 or maybe Q2, uh, pretty much on strategic analysis. That work is on, and I'm quite hopeful that a lot of senior BAs will see a lot of value with that kind of analysis. So it's not a project level analysis, but an enterprise level analysis. The solution options that you think of can be very different from the way we look at Babok or anything. Here, the solution options could be partnerships. Here, it could be acquiring a new company, could be anything. No? It's not limited to developing a new software. Definitely not. Okay, so again, I have just picked up one process from the CBDA guide, or it's called Guide to Business Data Analytics. All these guides are free to use once you become a member of IIBA. So those of you who are from India, you already have a very, very discounted price for the Indian membership. So leverage it till the time IIBA doesn't decide to change the membership prices and make it uniform around the globe. I don't think they will do it at this time. But for India, Bhutan, and few other countries, maybe Sri Lanka as well, the membership fees are very, very reasonable. Again, coming to the BA tools part, so there are traditional tools which are already there. So make yourselves comfortable about them. Jira, Balsamic, Confluence. Some of your companies may already be using them. So having some good knowledge on them will be helpful. If you're looking at data side of the story, you should develop some good skills on Excel, SQL, Power BI, and Tableau. And then I have added these two tools called ChatGPT and Copilot. And I'm very glad all of you are saying almost yes to using ChatGPT and Copilot. No, there are some simple rules that we follow as part of prompting and those kind of things. And we do actually cover almost all these tools as part of our boot camps. So we have one bootcamp series where we cover Jira, Balsamic, Confluence, ChatGPT. The other one is on the data side where we cover Excel, SQL, Power BI, Tableau, and ChatGPT. We still don't use Copilot at this time, but I believe Copilot and ChatGPT are very, very similar tools. But maybe we should do a little bit work on Copilot as well, because I hear a lot of companies are using Copilot as well. Again, finding a mentor can be very helpful. I believe all of you have a mentor at workplace. If not, go and actively search for one. And maybe you will find a gentleman or a lady who is willing to spend some time with you and make you a better BA, because that's a contribution they do to the community. No? So I personally mentor a lot of new BAs, people who want to write to me. They ask for suggestions, advice. So whenever possible, I write. But I am part of a small entity, so it's very hard for me to spend too much time on doing all these mentoring activities. Maybe once I kind of take a little backseat from what I'm doing today, I will have more time for mentoring in the future. Then again, I always say, whatever new things we learn, we try to apply these things. No? So if you get a strategic analyst in your company, in case you have someone, I believe most of you would have data analysts in your projects or products. Product owners may be already there, product managers may be already there. So that's again areas that we can look at. And many of you as BAs can definitely look forward to becoming a product owner or a product manager as well, because you already have the foundations for becoming a product owner or a product manager. But the moment you try to become a product manager, remember, you have to start developing a lot more marketing and finance sense. No, it's not technology that you only have to worry. No, how companies look at profitability, marketing, positioning. So there is a whole lot of things that will come around product management. Although most of us start from the technology background, but as you move up, you also have to learn business very, very well. So this course that I was talking of, Business 101 and Strategic Analysis, could be very helpful for people, those who are trying to become a business analyst, very early learners. And strategic analysis can be very helpful for people who want to become enterprise analysts, not project level analysts. And this has been my request to IIBA as well. We have done enough project work, and now let's look at enterprise options, because that's when you can actually contribute a lot more to business compared to contributing only to a particular project. So trust me, I keep telling people that a branded product will always be sold at a higher price point compared to an unbranded product. There's no doubt. No? Ram, have you seen anywhere unbranded products being sold at a higher price compared to a branded product?
No.
No. It's as simple as that. So the certifications are also a branding exercise along with knowledge development. Two things happen at the same time. You learn something new and you also get certified, so you build your brand. And trust me, even if I have worked for so long, I still find new things to learn whenever I go for a new certification. The way I went through data certification, I went through cybersecurity certification, you start getting aware of things that you should take care of. Like say when I was going through cybersecurity certification program, I realized that maybe we have not really thought through, and we always go for collecting as much data as possible. No, but are we really protecting the data that we have with us? And in some countries, if you are a little bit careless about your data, especially Europe, you can be penalized very heavily. So, as a business analyst, we should be very, very clear about learning about security of data, protecting our data. So that was very interesting learning for me. And let me quickly take you through how we assist you in your career journey, and then I'll be open to any question that you may have. So obviously, many of you may know us a little bit. We are a leading IIBA certifications provider. Our students come from 80 plus countries, which is, I think, a nice thing. And we hold a global market share of about 4% of all IIBA certifications. Got some excellent ratings from our students. We offer self-paced programs, instructor-led trainings, and as I said, we already have 2,300 IIBA certified professionals, which is quite a nice number to have. I think 2,500 is probably not doable this year, but I'm quite sure maybe by H1 2026, we would definitely cross 2,500 mark as well. We are also a content partner to Cengage, which is a large publishing house in the US, and we are a premier partner to IIBA Canada, and we are also an app partner to Thinkific, which is a large LMS. So a couple of our apps are live on them. So that's like a little bit of a product knowledge that we gain from that. So you can see here all the IIBA certifications, then the boot camps, then you can see Jira, SQL, Power BI. We also teach a tool called Bizazi, which is a very amazing business process modeling tool. It's one of the best BPM tools that I have come across. So what do we offer? All our programs, especially the CBAP and ECBA and all that, they come with something called a triple guarantee, success guarantee, money back guarantee, such and run guarantee. We are very, very careful about the faculty members that we choose. And most of the faculty members that we have today have been on board of IIBA, been senior leadership position with IIBA, have been part of Babak writing team, questions setting team and all. And of course, our content quality is pretty good, but we still want to do it better next year. So maybe this year, and we have some projects to run and make sure that the content is truly world class. That's what we are trying to do. Hopefully, that's a project we can complete by 2026 Q1. I don't think we can complete it in this year, but probably by Q1 2026, that piece will be done. I think I was talking to you about all these guarantees, and these are written guarantees. Okay, so don't worry about it. Not something. Okay, so these are the people that who teach on our side. Victoria is the vice chair for IIBA. This is me. Bindu is head of IIBA Europe. Laura has been long time associated with IIBA. Tom is our data expert in a sense. And Olivia also has been involved with IIBA for a very, very long time. So again, one good news for all of you, we have published our Black Friday pricing now. So whenever you go to our website, you will see Black Friday coupon codes available. It varies depending on the product pricing and all. Sometimes it can be $400. Sometimes it could go as high as $1,000 for some of the premium plans. And those of you who buy any of their live ultimate programs, you will also get access to our free Gen AI course, which is priced at USD 199. So that's how I made it as 1199 at this point in time. So two of our new cohorts begin. One begins on 3rd December. I think it's a Wednesday or Thursday, I don't remember, but this is a weekday program, and we have a weekend program also starting on 6th December. Then again, we will begin in January next year. So again, remember, it's a good time typically to invest some time in your skill, because usually December is a lean month. In most companies, December has less load, so you could utilize this time to learn something new. And you also get a little bit of a discount on certification bundles. So if you're planning to take IIBA certification sometime soon, you can leverage this discount as well. Lots of feedbacks on us, don't worry. Okay, so this is again something interesting in case you haven't observed. So we have a nice ebook called 200 IIBA mock questions. You can download it here. Good. So this is what I wanted to speak to you. I'm open to questions. I have enabled all of you to speak, I believe, so you can unmute yourself and ask me any question that you have in your mind. I'm done for now. Anybody has any question, or all of you are completely clear about what I discussed?
Everything is clear. Thank you so much for the
Very
presentation.
good.
And yeah, the information you have shared is very uh, great. Yeah, and important. And I wanted to ask about those discounts. How can
Hmm.
we get them? Is it just available on the Adaptive US website, or?
Yes, yes. So what you have to do, just go to our website, go to calendar. There's an app called Calendar app. So I'm
Uh-huh.
going to take you to the calendar app, and I will share the calendar app link as well. It's there throughout our website as well. Wherever you go, you will find. And they're already mentioned here. Do you see here? Like BF 950, BF 400, BF 200. So it depends on the product
Uh-huh.
category and all. So it'll tell you, it'll give you the code. So you need to apply
Okay.
the code when you buy it.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Lina, do you hear me well? Hello, Lina. Not very sure if she's still there, but she's there, but she isn't speaking. Okay. Anybody else? Any other question?
Actually, I have a doubt regarding currently it's getting changed even in pharmacovigilance and clinical trials as well. I came from life
Mhm.
science background,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, so I want to know more about so how it can improve because like you said, tools are there currently,
Mm.
but for clinical trials and pharmacovigilance related to life sciences domain. So
Mhm.
even though the business is same, but the process might be a bit different about the databases like
Uh,
Argus database, something like that, or
I
clinical trial
am
management systems.
okay, Pradeep. I'm not an expert on your domain, so I can't comment. But I believe usually companies which are in the pharma sector, they're very, very sensitive about data. No, because if the data gets leaked without their proper understanding, it can cause problem for the company. So you always have to take into using any of these tools little bit cautiously if there is a legal implication on you. Hmm.
Yes.
So talk to your seniors and see that you are not putting yourself into trouble while using such tools.
Okay, because here
Because
the patient data is more important because
mm,
working on the
true, true,
clinical trials domain.
true,
So
true, true.
so
Maybe
currently,
yeah, the tools
sorry
that
to
you should
interrupt
look
you.
at. No, no. The tools that you should look at probably are private LLM. People talk about private LLMs, which are
Yes,
confined to your company data alone. Like it
yes,
does not take the data outside your company network.
yeah, true.
If the company data is going outside the network, the companies are a little bit reluctant, and it is genuinely so. No, who knows?
Yes,
Some legal legal case comes behind you, and the
yes.
penalties can be very huge.
Yeah, true. Because regulatory requirements are also part of it. So these are all
True.
the things which we need to take into
Very
consideration.
true, very true, very true, very true. But a lot of sectors, like say, for example, retail, hospitality, education, they don't have such kind of restrictions.
Yeah.
So they are relatively free to use, but again, in your domain, you have to be very, very careful.
Because currently people who are from that domain are coming to part of business analyst because they feel that currently the trend is getting changed even though they are
Hmm,
from the same background. So
hmm.
yeah, so I feel that I even though I came from license background, I felt that business analyst is a good option for me because I have enough
True,
experience, 13 plus
true.
years.
Yeah, and you already have the domain experience, so that's always helpful as a business analyst.
Yes,
No, having a
yes.
good domain knowledge is always very, very helpful. Good. I'm glad. I did have a client in the pharmacovigilance sector. So I used to work with a company. I'm forgetting their name, and they were trying to build a product around uh, clinical research and all that. But I'm not from a healthcare background, so I don't have great understanding about that space.
Because initially I was afraid to come into business analyst role because I came from other background. So I want to
Mhm.
explore the things. Currently, I'm doing a PhD also in part time in
Oh wow,
biochemistry.
very good. Glad. I'm very glad. Okay. Anybody else? Any other question? All good? Okay, if you folks don't have any question, I will let you go. Have a lovely day. If you have any questions about us, about our products, our services, or anything that you want to take advantage of, the best way to reach out to us is the email ID that is displayed here, which is called CS, okay, that's customer success at adaptiveus.com. You can also call us on our toll-free number, that's also available. But emails are also a great way to reach out to us. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And all of you have a lovely day or evening or morning, whatever. And I hope to see you again sometime soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Have
Thank
a
you so
nice
Thank,
much.
time.
Bye bye.
thank you,
Yeah,
Bye.
Ellen,
bye bye.
Bye.
for the wonderful
Bye